Welcome back to To Be Seen. I am the man behind the scenes on the To Be Seen channel. I am Captain Joe Dove, member of the Captain's Quadrant as well. And of course, I am here to give onto you, to bequeath you, so to speak, the man with so many ties, he just realizes how fast time flies. Your host for the console room, this very channel. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, Ernesto.
Time Lords, Time Ladies, welcome back to the console room. As you can see, I'm a little disheveled from my regeneration, and we are, just like the Doctor, we're going through the first episodes of each new Doctor. And this week, we bring to you the first appearance of the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, the 11th Hour.
Yes. This was the first time we saw Matt Smith. We were introduced, and of course, normally it's always like a painstaking moment to have to regenerate and get used to a brand new Doctor. But for me, I don't know about you, but I kind of warmed up to him right away. I thought this was such a fun episode. He wasn't pulling a Grandpa Joe and laying in bed for it all. He was ready to go, running all over the place, jumping in a pool and a library. This was a magical episode and a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. The new Doctor Who.
Doctor Who?
Doctor Who? Doctor Who? Doctor Who?
Fellas, you're never going to stop asking.
Look at that.
And there he is.
There he is. I'm never gonna.
We've been waiting for this ever since we did that bumper. Yes. Matthew Robert Smith, born 28 October 1982, started playing the Doctor at the ripe old age of 28. The youngest actor to play the Doctor since last week, Peter Davison. Matt Smith, before a serious back injury, he was on track to being a professional football player. When I say football, this is English football, yes. But unfortunately, due to a back injury, he was sidelined and focused his energies in the theater. There is one great episode with Matt where he actually gets to show off his footballing skills. Let's see, which episode was that?
Matt Smith playing the football.
Yes, he was playing a soccer hooligan.
Mm.
It wasn't. You know what? I'm sorry. I do not have it handy. Folks, let me know in the comments which episode this was. It was a great one-off episode. Again, whose name just escapes me at the moment, and my internet connection is killing me with streaming this. So sorry, but Matt does play football in one episode, and
Lodger.
He's was it the Lodger? Yes, it was the Lodger. Because there was two episodes with that character, with that actor.
I used the Google.
Yeah, I was trying to IMDb it, which is what and doing it from my pad.
You'd be scrolling. Yeah.
Exactly. So, But thank you, Joe. That's why we keep you around.
Yeah.
This episode opens with a new title sequence, amped up theme, which would make sense. New Doctor, new showrunner in the form of Stephen Moffat, taking over for Russell T Davies. So we have a whole new aesthetic. Occasionally, this will happen with a Doctor where they will reboot his entire life. They did it with Matt. They did it with Jodie, and to a point. And also they did it with 14 and with 15 as well, with David Tennant again and with Ncuti Gatwa. A completely new Doctor, a new TARDIS, a new opening sequence, along with a new behind-the-scenes crew. This episode starts off with Matt with the 11th Doctor holding on to the outside of the TARDIS as it's spiraling over the streets of London, crashing. So immediately you're okay. This is cool. This is something that we have not seen before. And it crash lands in the garden where we find this young girl, this pretty little red-haired girl, praying to Santa Claus to come and fix
thought that was
the crack in her wall.
I thought that was
odd, right?
Interesting. Yeah. It's like praying to Santa, because like when she was praying, I was like, oh. And then I saw she was praying. I was like, oh, okay, wait. Did she pray say Santa in the beginning of that? And then it was to Santa. I thought that was a very interesting choice.
I'm guessing it was because they wanted to keep it as as non-sectarian as possible. Obviously the girl is Scottish, the character is Scottish, so she's most likely Anglican. Or some form, or Catholic, some branch of Christianity, but again, to keep it on a on a broad basis, for wider appeal, let's just pray to Santa.
Yeah.
So
that was cute, but that's something a little kid would do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Santa gives me the gift, so maybe Santa could help me out.
There you go. It's kid logic.
Yeah, kid logic.
It's kid logic.
And then, of course,
Crash.
We have, Crash. There he is, Crash, and he pops up, and she's like, well, why you're all wet? Well, I was in my pool, but you said you were in the library.
The pool is in the library. It's common sense. Yes, this is the first time that we find out that the TARDIS does indeed have a pool. Again... So something that the library kind of figured that it always would, and I believe the library shows up in other iterations of Doctor Who. It would make sense that the Doctor would have a library. I mean, he's the Doctor, but a swimming pool?
Yeah,
I love it.
Well, now you know what. And you took over for the Zero Room that he jettisoned from the last episode.
There you go. Exactly. He's got to float someplace.
Do the same thing, So here we go. The Doctor is got a new man, and he's looking for some new clothes. He's got all these ties on. Matt Smith has a very jovial, humorous, and very warm way about himself. So I think that's what helped, and I think that was smart choice by Moffat to pick Smith, because the way he presents himself and his acting style immediately gets you comfortable with the guy. And kind of brings you into the new world of the new Doctor.
Conversely, even though he's so young, and obviously handsome, as most are, as most of the Doctors are, if you look at his gait, when he's walking, and also his wardrobe and the way he walks. I'm not the first to say this. It's been said for the entirety of Matt's run as the Doctor. He dresses like your grandpa. He walks like your grandpa.
Oh, interesting.
When you add that...
Suspenders and bow tie,
The suspenders, bow tie, that even... there are a few episodes where you see him, and I believe he does it in this, where the camera is behind him and he's literally walking away, and you can see he has this old man walk.
The stomping,
Not necessarily a stomping, more of a
the way his
shuffle.
The way he walks.
So it again, it's a combination of young face, old demeanor. Well, no body, but old soul, old mind. And it really, really worked for this new iteration of the Doctor. I do want to go on record as saying that Matt Smith is my wife's favorite Doctor. So there's always love for Matt in our house. In fact, and again, they are not sponsors, but I would be amiss if I did not plug this amazing restaurant in Beacon, New York. If you're in the New York area, upstate New York or Connecticut, even in Pennsylvania, it is worth the drive. Look up the Pandorica. It is a Doctor Who themed restaurant, and the owner is a wonderful little English lady, spectacular, fantastic lady. She's obviously a huge Matt Smith fan because the entire restaurant, though it's Doctor Who theme, there's definitely a lot of Matt's influence in it.
They serve fish fingers and custard.
They absolutely do serve fish fingers and custard, and you would be amazed at how good it actually is.
Oh, nice.
Speaking of fish fingers and custard, once the Doctor has regenerated, he's obviously hungry. And that's actually one of the first things he says to young Amelia, apples. He's craving apples. So, like most young girls would do, well, this man is hungry, let me feed him. And apples. Throws it out. Can't stand it. Yogurt. Oh, I want yogurt. Can't stand the yogurt. Goes down. Bacon. He throws the frying pan with the bacon out. Beans. Beans are rubbish. Off. Bread and butter. How could you go wrong with bread and butter? Absolutely not. He even says to the poor little Amelia, "You're Scottish. Fry something."
Yeah, that's when he gets
Finally,
bacon,
yeah. Finally, he settles on fish, fingers, and custard. Two things that should not go together. But
apparently do very well.
Folks, I'm sure we are not the only Doctor Who fans who, after seeing this, tried it. I'm sure we're not the only ones. And if you have, you know just how good fish fingers and custard are. And if not, take a ride up to Beacon, New York, go to the Pandorica, and order yourself some fish fingers and custard.
Yes. And as he goes and he stumbles on Amelia, she tells him about the wall, the crack in the wall, where there's a mysterious voice saying patient zero has escaped, and it just keeps repeating the same phrase over and over again about prisoner zero, not patient zero. Patient zero is usually in a pandemic. But yes, prisoner zero, and constantly going up to prisoner zero, and we get this wonderful shot, I think, of the young girl who's playing young Amy Pond, who is actually a relative of Karen Gillan. Right?
Yes. I figured we would leave that for companions, but while we're here, yes, the actress's name is Caitlin Blackwood.
This is the
might as well.
I met this person and I got whooshed away across all space and time. I mean, I had the most amazing adventures, really. I mean, you wait till you hear, because I'm going to tell you them all.
Yes. The amazing.
And you will hear them all. You will hear all about them here on the console room. So starting with the young Amelia, Caitlin Blackwood plays young Amelia Pond, age 9. And as it turns out, she is the cousin of the actress who would play older Amelia, Amy Pond, the great Karen Gillan. And there she is in all her splendor. Her breakthrough role here in Doctor Who, leading to so much other amazing work. Most everyone knows her as Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxy and all of her Marvel work. So many other things. I believe she did a sitcom called Selfie, I believe it was. So much work. Karen Gillan has done.
Jumanji. She was in
Jumanji. How could she forget Jumanji?
Yeah, she's been in a lot, and she's amazing. I absolutely adore her.
And it pretty much started here on Doctor Who.
Yeah,
and by her side,
as you saw
her boyfriend, Rory Williams, played by a very young Arthur Darvill, who as well went on to many other things. American fans know him best from Legends of Tomorrow.
Right.
Where he played Time Captain, yes. Yeah. Where Karen Gillan went Marvel, he went DC.
He went DC. I'm sure Parr was like, oh, Joe.
A mixed marriage. You gotta love it.
Yeah. And there was almost another companion who actually did come through to help the Doctor in this episode, and that is Jeff. My name's Jeff.
Yes,
And
good old Jeff.
Good old Jeff. And you may know
Jeff.
Jeff if you are a fan of the Umbrella Academy. He plays the Muscle Show in that one, and he is a lot as a hoot. And I didn't know he was English. I was like, oh, okay, he's an American just like us. So he's very good at hiding his accent.
Tends to happen a lot. The actor from The Walking Dead, who's I was never a big Walking Dead fan, preferred the comics, but most people did not know that he was English until Comic-Con, and he spoke.
Yeah, people are like, who's that guy?
Yeah. But Jeff was played by Tom Hopper.
Yep.
He first also
go ahead.
First appeared in. Oh, I was actually gonna go on to another small bit proving that there are no small actors, only small parts. The mother, played by Academy Award-winning actress Olivia Colman.
Yes.
And one of her breakthrough roles, the small part in Doctor Who. She won the Academy Award for her performance of Queen Anne in 2019's The Favorite. So, this series, we've for the first two iterations of the Doctor, we've had up and coming actors and established actors all throughout the seasons, and it continues with Matt Smith's Doctor. In his tenure, we have everyone from Michael Sheen to Bill Nye to Magneto.
Ian McKellen?
Ian McKellen was the voice of the intelligence in The Snowman. Sir
Really?
Ian McKellen.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yep.
That. Wow. That's a great one.
Yep. Yeah.
That is crazy.
It has become, Doctor Who had by this point had become someplace that actors wanted to be seen.
Yeah.
And
we have the king of carpool karaoke himself in this iteration of Doctor Who in this series.
Yes.
Who's got a little bit of a blacklist right now after everything that went down. He actually left the United States, and it's a shame. James Corbin.
We wish it. We hope everything works out for the best for all things considered.
Yep. So
and
then
throughout, so one of the best lines in this one. Oh, well, one thing that we did not mention earlier. The Doctor, after seeing the crack, realizes that he needs to reboot the TARDIS engines. Tells young Amelia, "I'll be back in 5 minutes."
5 minutes.
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And as is done in film and TV, the clock fades and spins. So no, it's not 5 minutes. It looks more like a few hours because now it's broad daylight. And here comes the Doctor looking for young Amelia. She's nowhere to be seen. But he knows what's going on in this house. He has to get her out. He runs in and for all he's worth, gets a cricket bat right in the face.
Yep.
And he wakes up handcuffed to a radiator and this is the first time we see the lovely policewoman played by
Karen Gillan.
There she is, Karen Gillan. Radioing for backup because this man is breaking and entering.
Yeah.
We soon find out that as the episode progresses, we find out that is He was not gone 5 minutes. What happened to Amelia Pond? This guy knows something about Amelia Pond, and the policewoman makes sure that she tells dispatch this. Arguing, banter back and forth to find out that this beautiful red-headed lady, policewoman, is indeed Amelia Pond, all grown up.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? 10 years?
12.
12 years. 12 years. So obviously the TARDIS engines are working just as well as they always have.
Yeah, exactly.
That 5 minutes turned into 12 years.
Yeah, yeah. And
poor Amelia.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Amelia.
And this is of course,
12 years.
Our villain.
Yes.
Yes.
I shall now kill you, Doctor.
And this is the series where we get the Iron Man upgrade to the.
Yes.
to the,
actually, no. No. The Cybermen was with David Tennant in Age of Steel.
I thought they would look more. Yes. They look more like Iron Man in
they were upgraded a little bit. Obviously, higher budget, better CGI. But the Iron Man looking Cybermen happened in first in I think it was Age of Steel. Was it Age of Steel? Or something about ghosts. It was a David Tennant episode with Rose towards the end of the season of season 5. No, I'm sorry, not season 5 of season 2. But
so here we are in this episode.
The Doctor is investigating the crack in the wall, and we see an eye. Now, this harkens back to old school 50s sci-fi movies. Because what is creepier than an eye? Just a disembodied eye.
One eye.
Yeah, one eye. There is nothing creepier than that. So much so that Stephen King actually used it in a scene in It.
Oh wow.
I don't think they actually portrayed it in any of the film adaptations of it, but if you read the book, there's a scene where one of the characters actually has to put his whole fist into this giant eye.
Ugh.
And I think it's Richie Tozier, because his whole thing was his glasses, so it would make sense that he would have to put his hand through an eye.
Yeah.
Again, never judge a book by its movie.
Yeah.
But again, here's this eye coming through the crack, and all we keep hearing is it's repeating. Prisoner Zero will evacuate the human. What was it? The inhabitants. There was a word. They used a word that implied house. The word is on the tip of my tongue. But it sounds like he's saying that Prisoner Zero must leave the human house. But what they actually mean is the planet. They mean planet Earth, not just Amy's house. They mean planet Earth. Prisoner Zero, whoever this Prisoner Zero is, has to leave planet Earth. And Amy, unfortunately, sees what Prisoner Zero actually looks like.
Yeah. And it ain't pretty.
No, it's not. Creepy, snaky looking, translucent, fangy creep thing. It's a multiform alien, so it can actually take. It forms a telepathic link with those who are in coma or unconscious. So which also saved a lot in CGI.
Yeah,
and added to the plot is while all of the small English town is standing there with their little 2010 cell phones, taking video and picture of the spaceship in the sky. Our good friend Rory is actually taking pictures of the guy standing there with his dog because Rory, being a nurse, sees that this man is in a coma in the hospital that he's working in. So all right, there's a spaceship in the sky, but what's he doing here? And those are the people that the doctor wants with him. People who don't pay attention to what everyone else is paying attention, but they see some other detail. So if you're ever in a situation where everyone is focused on one thing, if you're focused on something else, chances are a madman in a box will ask you to join him.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And
so Prisoner Zero takes
the shape of our Academy Award winner here.
Mm-hmm.
And
there she is.
Quite a few of the coma patients. And of course, the doctor confronts Prisoner Zero in the hospital where Rory worked. So nice how everything kind of bow ties itself together. Yeah. You see what I did there?
I saw it ties itself together. Yes.
It ties itself together.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. And then we finally get the main confrontation between the doctor and Prisoner Zero, which of course alerts the Atraxi, and they arrive at the top of the hospital where Doctor Who takes his stand and of course wins the day.
But before that,
Who the man?
Yep.
Who the man? And,
which he said once and never say again.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, because they should never. No, he should never. The doctor should never ever say that ever again.
Yes. But
and it was that great confrontation between the doctor and the Atraxi. He's telling him, no, this planet is. You wanted to blow up this planet. This planet is protected. Yes. Check your files. And they did this great montage of everyone who's tried to, everyone who's tried to take over the Earth and who saved it. And it is the first 10 faces of the Doctor. And we go from the image of David Tennant, and here comes Matt Smith through that image with his shirt buttoned and a bow tie. He got rid of the other ties that he had, and here he is in his bow tie.
Yes.
I unfortunately did not have a bow tie to wear, so
I had one.
But here he is, and literally introduces himself. Hello, I'm the Doctor. And this incredible piece of music, a new score by Maury Gold plays. I'd love to play it for you guys, but unfortunately, we get sued. So when you get a chance, after you finish watching us on YouTube, and like and subscribe and give us a thumbs up and ring that bell, the next thing you should do is look up I Am the Doctor by Maury Gold, and you will hear this amazing piece of music that is repeated. It literally has become the Doctor's action theme throughout Matt's tenure as the Doctor.
Yes. And be sure to follow us on social media to be seen and the Console Room Podcast. Yes,
absolutely.
Very well summed up. Great episode. Fun way to kick off the new Doctor. This series,
it really was definitely one of the best first episodes that we've seen and that we've reviewed. Even if Matt is not one of your favorite Doctors, this is definitely one of the best first episodes. It had so much. You had so much to unpack, so much to learn, so much exposition, and they did it. And to Moffat's credit, he did it perfectly. And yet, even with all the stuff that they had to unpack, what did he do? He dropped some nuggets. He dropped some clues.
Yeah.
Even Prisoner Zero says the Pandorica will open and silence will fall. Now, for those of us who have seen, Matt's run of the Doctor in its entirety, we know what those warnings are. We know what the Pandorica is. What happens when the Pandorica opens? We know about the silence.
Yes.
And just proof that Stephen Moffat, as good as Russell T Davies is, as good as Ira Stephen Bear and Ronald D. Moore and any other writer that you care to throw out, Moffat is head and shoulders above most of them as far as overarching stories go, because he had this whole thing planned and every detail, between hinting at the Pandorica and the Silence, and he started even with David Tennant's Doctor with the death, the introduction and death of everyone's favorite archaeologist,
River Song. Yes.
the breathtaking River Song.
Yes.
In what seemed to be a one-off episode. Like, wait,
Yeah.
there's something here.
The
There is something here. All because Moffat knew what he was doing. All because Moffat had this whole thing planned. I mean, honestly, Kevin Feige, if you're watching, and we know you are, hire Stephen Moffat.
Sure.
Okay? You'll want to save the MCU, hire Moffat.
You know what's funny?
Okay.
Moffat was also running Sherlock at the same time with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was. Which there's a huge connection in fandoms with Supernatural, Doctor Who, and Sherlock. The fan base overlaps a lot with those three shows. To the point where they actually there's a hashtag Super Wholock. Super Wholock, yeah. Next time you're on the platform formerly known as Twitter, hashtag Super Wholock, you'll get some interesting reading.
Nice. I'll have to take a look. Well, that is going to wrap it up for this week's episode of the Doctor Who Console Room show that we do here weekly. So we just want to make sure you check out our friends, all of our wonderful friends, including the man that makes all of the fun little, not little, but wonderful bumpers and makes this place look great. That is VHS Jace, the man with the power next to his head squared. You can find him at Pop Culture Spread and VHS Jace, where he's doing all the wonderful things that hit your member berries there on VHS Jason and Pop Culture Spread. He's talking about movie and streaming news, and they just talked about how the situation with the WWE and the new possibility that they are actually moving to Netflix. So that was a very interesting tidbit this week. Be sure to visit our friends, the Sci-Fi Queens, every 2 weeks. They are talking about women in sci-fi. Visit our buddies, the Scarif podcast on the network Red 5. They are pure, unadulterated nerd talk. They talk mostly about Star Wars. But as we talked about wrestling, be sure to visit our sponsor, the Orsini's Uncensored Mind. Yes, the podcast Orsini's Uncensored Mind. It is a weekly foray into all things wrestling and pop culture. So be sure to check out our good buddy, AJ Orsini, who has the voice of Silva, that silver-tongued man dressed to the nines, ready to get those wonderful news of sports and entertainment in your ear. And if you enjoyed me, please join us over on the sister channel to this one, the Captain's Quadrant. You'll visit us over at there. We're doing the Agony Booth. Our buddy VHS Jace is coming back to talk about Requiem for Methuselah, a Agony Booth worthy episode from the original series. Yeah, exactly. If you remember this one, you know.
Yeah.
That's
That's a rough watch. Yeah.
That's a rough watch.
I do want to give.
If you're into gaming, please be sure to visit me back on the Captain's Quadrant this Friday at 9 p.m. I'm going to be playing Star Trek Prodigy over on that channel. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we are going to have a blast. Ernesto, take it away.
Sounds good. Joe, I wanted to give you some props on last week's episode of the Agony Booth. Folks, if you haven't seen the Agony Booth, first of all, what's wrong with you? Okay, there's very few. The only thing better than a terrible Star Trek episode are the really great ones. And last week, Joe had the pleasure of having what did you call it? The Ecstasy Booth?
The Ecstasy Booth. Yeah.
The Ecstasy Booth and the review of In the Pale Moonlight. Oh, probably one of Oh, one of the definitely top 3 episodes of Star Trek ever.
Yes. It's the original
And
misspelled version, but yeah. We had 2
yeah.
amazing guests from the Sci-Fi Sisters. We had Sabrina Wood, who is amazing. Oh my goodness!
Oh,
And
Sabrina
let me
is
tell you,
fantastic.
talk about great voices too, man. I was like,
Oh
oh
yeah.
very comforting, very spot on, and I loved what she had to say about that episode. And of
Folks,
course,
if you haven't already, they're not on. They are personal friends of ours. If you have not checked out the Sci-Fi Sisters,
yeah, be
you're
sure to
doing
check that
yourself a
out.
disservice. They are 4 amazing ladies who are as intelligent and well read as they are funny and beautiful. And talk about voices. All 4 are just have these incredible voices, and they will give you their point of view. So, folks,
That's right.
after you're done listening to us, check out the Sci-Fi Sisters.
There you go. And yes, and we'll all see you next time. Next week, we will hit you up on our socials to tell you what episode, which doctor we're going to hop into next. There'll be a
Yes,
spinning wheel.
definitely look us up. I will be spinning the wheel of who on all of our socials, so you'll know which episode we will be reviewing next week. With the holidays over and life getting back to normal, we're gonna try and get a little bit more on a set schedule. And
So we'll be back
hopefully
every
we'll be
Tuesday.
dropping a new episode every Tuesday.
Yep. Fish fingers and custard, folks.